welcome once again to Clinical Theurgy, episode 58. A lot happened last week, and we left off on a pretty interesting note. What was that interesting note?
Well, so last week we had defeated the nymph. We were trying to figure out why the blood was still spraying. So we were, sort of trial and erroring as to why that was happening. And then, so we decided to rest for the night. We went to the edge of the forest because we were not able to cast spells where we were, or at least all of our spells, whatever. And then, so we rested for the night, and then Niev decided to burn the nymph's body. And that actually triggered something. We encountered a demon that apparently she had been using for his aura, his power. We were all pretty weak, even though we had rested. We had taken a lot of different types of damage that didn't necessarily heal up overnight, that we weren't able to heal. So Goron stepped up to the plate because Ivy was just having a hard time even hitting this thing.
Ivy was drained of all of her strength.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, though, is that we had taken damage that was hard for... we couldn't just heal it up overnight. And so, because we were weakened, Ivy had a hard time hitting. So Goron stepped up to the plate, and Niev was trying to keep Goron alive, but it was just a battle of attrition. And eventually Goron went down. This demon was hungry. He wanted to have some dwarf snacks. He offered to let us go in exchange for Goron. He was communicating with us telepathically. So Niev, realizing that we were no match for this thing, like literally none of us could kill it, then she snatched some hair from Goron and retreated. Ivy kept trying to defend Goron, but still was no use. The demon kind of ignored her. And so it ate Goron. So after it ate Goron, it shot up into the air and made a hole in the canopy of trees and flew away. And the forest began to heal. The trees were apologizing to us because they had been corrupted by this blight. So basically, and before the demon ate Goron, it unwrapped him like a candy bar. And so we collected Goron's stuff that was left behind. We ran into that goblin again, who was thankful that we had, beaten the nymph and offered to reincarnate Goron. Of course, she was going to speak with him. She tried to trick him into reincarnating him, but Goron only wanted to return as himself. Ivy was, of course, mourning Goron, pissed off, kind of mouthed off to the goblin, so the goblin just kind of left. But we were able to return to the ministry. Rion was unhappy with everything. I don't think we quite did enough for Rion's taste, but we did accomplish our objective. He took the piece of Goron that we had left and told us to go home and get some rest, and that we would have to go to the chairs to debrief, basically, and relive our memories. Antaeus visited the guy in the lab. He was trying to find out more about how they were planning on dealing with the whole Goron thing, since we gave him our only sample of hair or whatever. And so, and then Niev also visited Moirin. And then the next day we reported to the ministry to go to the chairs. And as we take our seats, Goron appeared, and they basically said they would take the funds for his resurrection out of our reward, and then he took his seat, and we were preparing to relive the incident.
Yeah. So you are all able to sit and re-experience, re-suffer through the encounter that happened that day. After a few days of being separated from it, it's a bit jarring to sort of sit down and see yourself standing once before in front of the what you know is going to be certain doom, but to kind of watch as your bodies are playing out the actions that you already took, and knowing all the things that are about to happen, it just kind of adds a sting to it each time that something occurs. And as this is happening, Antaeus, you'll be aware that they are monitoring not only for your what happened in the scenario, but your external reactions to what is happening within the scenario. Like, you'll realize that pretty quickly, is you do have your surface level thoughts on top of the thoughts within the re-experiencing, and you'll kind of get this like click in your head that's like, oh, they're watching this because this like tells whether or not we fabricated something, because they're getting to live see how our bodies respond and how our minds respond to the experience itself. So
like if we modified memory or something like that.
Yeah, or if by chance, like, you literally created a scenario where you said, like, okay, from this moment forward, we're going to run this memory. And then you replayed that memory, and all of the rest of it was just bullshit. Like, you just fabricated a bunch of illusions and made this whole thing go through.
Interesting.
And as everything kind of comes to a close, and your eyes open up, at first it's a very strange and uncomfortable experience, because you go from a very, very low lit area, just the small, the small beams of light that come through the canopy, to the obnoxious brightness that is a fully and brightly lit room. And for a moment there is maybe silence. Would you guys react in coming out of all of this?
I think Niev, would probably cry a little bit, just because it's very emotional, to have lost Gulron and to, I think, relive losing Gulron. Even though she knows he's okay, it's like, she felt very hopeless in that encounter, and it's just reliving it all again, just, is sad for her.
When I come out of it, I would probably be trying to, I guess throughout the whole time, I would be trying to downplay my physical reaction to the stuff of knowing what I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have an end goal in mind with it. I just don't want to give up more information than I have to.
Okay.
Ivy's just silently rewatching it.
Gulron, you get to re-experience being eaten. In your mind, you've been eaten twice now.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that comes across or how one would react to that, but I imagine Gulron's trying to keep his composure to such a thing.
Yeah, so Rian will kind of sit up in the chair that he is in, wave his hands, and you'll feel like the restraints that were put on you for your own safety be removed. I understand the lack of information now, at least that's useful. But it would have been more helpful if I would have sent you with more information. Perhaps if we could have gotten more reconnaissance done, it would have been a better benefit, but we lost a lot of people trying to get it. You've all done well, though. As well as, I suppose, all of you could. It is our policy in situations like this to award and reward you all with titles and compensations. Any of the gear which you have now that you owe back to the ministry or the knights is yours free and clear now. In addition, I've gotten wind of some of your personal side interests, some of which I am willing to help out on, and some of them, and he looks over at Antaeus, I'm not as convinced are worth helping fund. But perhaps. I'm interested in where you're going with it. Gulrun, you'll be happy to hear that I have helped grease the wheels with your issues with the churches. You should find, with your success and my words to them, that you'll need to do little more than just explain whatever this Kraz-Karan is in better detail to most of them. Ivy, your family issues are of great concern to me. And I have my agents looking for any details I can on this. But Niev, you are our most interesting experiment. And one where we might have a glimmer of hope for you. We recently came into custody of a corpse that our records have tracked as originating from a continent outside of Sierra Savant. It possessed items and spells upon it that are not spells that we have here, or objects that have ever been known to be manufactured here. We believe that if this person can be here, they must have gotten here somehow, some way. But unfortunately, we have not gotten the proper means in place to awaken their corpse yet. When this body was discovered, the capital city let us know immediately, since you are the only other registered outsider within our boundaries. And we asked very specifically that the body be transported here for the process to occur. We would like, when it arrives, and when we've had our proper time to question it, for you to participate in an additional round of questioning.
That sounds most promising. I will do it, of course.
Good. I would hope that would be something that would be to your liking.
Niev will sort of smile. She'll kind of look eager, but she's not gonna go on and gush on and on to her boss, but she's definitely sort of excited by the prospect.
All of you are, as far as the ministry is concerned, no longer required to be of service to the ministry. You weren't theoretically required some time ago, but your service is greatly appreciated. You have eliminated one of the greatest threats this city has seen, and for that, you shall be commended. Lastly, your homes will be better suited for those of your success. If you'd like, we can either accommodate improving your existing living space, or we can move you into one of our much nicer estates. It is your choice. If we were to make the modifications to your existing living space, we would make your living space better protected using magical means against a number of different forces which might come to take your lives. The estates have many of these things, but are not always as advanced as what our newest arcana might have been able to have uncovered in terms of protection. So you may lose out on some of the more advanced arcanology we've been able to put together. The choice is yours, and you have until your ceremonies to make the decisions as to how these things will be handled. A formal ceremony will be presented, or a formal ceremony will be held in your honor in 2 weeks' time. You are all expected to be there, but not obligated.
This sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Heroes of your caliber don't come along every day. Enjoy the recognition for your service that you'll receive from the people outside, but be wary. Things know of your success. They are aware of your strengths. Well, not everyone that you meet will have malintent for you. There is a time that may come when those that might either be jealous of what you've earned or believe that what you've done is actually for the worst might attempt to steal from you what you've rightfully earned. Keep a sharp eye. Don't get too full of yourselves.
Will do.
One last time, you are all dismissed.
Nia will get up and go out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can all head out. Does anybody have anything they want to say before they leave, or?
I mean, yeah, I would just have details about the offer he made, but I guess we're discussing that later.
Okay.
I would, whenever I get a moment, I would tell Goron, you might want to go see Moiran. I kind of already had told him about what happened, so you might want to go see him.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I will make my way to my room.
All right.
So I don't know if the party comes with me or whatever.
Do you have any idea if Moira knows how to cure vial damage?
Probably?
Vial damage. Do I know anything about vial damage?
Have you guys experienced vile damage yet?
No.
So did anybody make a check to see if they even know that that's vile damage?
I guess probably not. So we would just know that like I'm not healing. Like,
yeah, you'll notice that you're like that you still don't feel good even after like the rest and the curatives that you would normally want or need.
So heal check or religion?
That is a heal check.
Oof.
It was delayed, but yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I had to check to see if it was trained or not.
Yeah, so Gulran, you will like kind of look over her body, investigating like the way her veins are running, and you will notice that like normally when you've looked at Ivy, it's been kind of a weird thing to look at anyway, like when you're healing her or when you're checking for like serious problems. But in this particular case, her veins have a tint of black to them. And you will know that there is a sort of a vile injury that has been taken. So healing is basically sort of locking in this damage that she's taken. And it always kind of resides within her. To remove this, there are like a number of different things that have to be done. If you wanted to get through it like over the long term. Over the short term, however, my brain is now spacing on me, but I believe... One second here. Keep these notes on hand.
Get their dinner real fast.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is. Yeah, so you will know that you need to, that you would need to take her to a consecrated area, and you will need to both cast Remove Disease, and then at that point you will be able to perform the curing on her that will be required to heal it. Simply doing the Remove Disease will sort of like neutralize the problem, but natural healing will not cleanse away the rest of it. If allowed to rest for a certain amount of time, the damage would simply kind of revert to its normal form, or create like a kind of blockage. So the cure spell cleans out what's left of the sort of diseased blood.
Yeah, so I'd relay this to the party if everyone's here, and I'll see if Myron has this stuff ready to go. If not, perhaps I can deal with it on another day when I prepare those things.
Yeah, I was trying to think if I had it prepared, but I don't believe that I do either.
Oh, I have Consecrate, but I don't have a new disease prepared, so... Well, let's see, maybe Myron has the other part of the equation that could help us. If not, we can fix it tomorrow.
Yeah, you can make your way over to the temple. Moirin is there, as usual. It's very rare that Moirin ever takes a day off. I thought you were dead!
Take more than a demon eating me to keep me from the realm of the living.
He'll run up to you, a tear in his eye, and wrap his arms around you. You've never really, like, had Moirin show quite this level of affection. Like, he's not a super affectionate person, but somewhat affectionate person, but this is a lot more excitement from Moirin you've seen that isn't related to food.
Yeah, I guess I'll look a little surprised, but then return the embrace after being surprised.
I thought it's sad that you choose a new path and then the path chooses to take you. Glad you're still here.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It was by my new God's graces that I returned to you. But I'm glad you're still well. But on another matter, my friend here, she's been stricken with this blackness in her veins. I believe we can cure her with a combination of removing diseases and unconsecrated ground and some curing. I could do this myself in the following days, but I was hoping maybe you could help with for old time's sake. Do you have any of these prepared?
Yeah, he'll take a look at her. Well, of course, I could do that for you. Why would I ever not take care of it? I have, in fact, a sacred space specifically for things of this nature. He'll guide you guys back to another part of the temple. This is kind of like down and in a sort of basement area beneath here. And it's like he'll walk you in. There's a very large room, and in the room there are 4 very large statues. There are 2 statues in this room of Sascha. One portraying the bow, and the other statue portraying the book. And both statues of Sascha look like what most people have assumed the image of Sascha and the shape of Sascha looks like. But they also both look different from each other. Against another corner is Thoth, or at least the statue that most people akin to his likeness. And against the other is Suanol. This is a mutually built room many years ago. Here, it is hallowed ground. Will act essentially as a consecration. And I happen to have a remove disease on hand. You never know.
That's good you prepared for such a thing.
Sascha teaches preparedness is the route to success. You must learn first, fight second. He'll notice that, well down here, Ivy's in a kind of, weird haze. The hallowing effect seems to have a very odd effect on Ivy. She seems limited in her ability to sort of function properly and enter the room. Actually kind of fun that she stepped away for this. Is there something else wrong with her?
I mean, she's had these... We've noticed some changes in her. I was able to heal her with the Make Whole spell one time. And her eyes really glow a different way now.
Make
sure.
whole. She's a human, isn't she?
Yeah, I think so. She's undergone some sort of changes. I'm not sure if this is part of what's going on.
Well, not entirely. I'll kind of give him a brief rundown of what I've been able to learn about her.
This sounds terrible. You've been traveling with this thing?
Oh, hold on. She's not a thing. She's a person.
So, Ivy, as you arrive at the temple, Moirin sort of welcomes the now living Gulran into his arms and into his temple. They head down to a room that has access to Hollow, which is part of what they will need to cure you. But when you get down the stairs and you get within the sort of glowing feel of the room, you become paralyzed. Your brain starts having kind of like a panicked, like an intense moment of panic. There's that racing sensation in your chest of anxiety and pressure. You are paralyzed by fear. You can hear Gulran, Antaeus, and Moirin discuss your condition. And Moirin seems rather unnerved. I do not intend to say something mean, but someone who can be repaired like an object but looks human is quite scary. Especially... Go ahead.
Sorry, you go.
No. Say what you need.
She's also been able to be healed by the normal means. Perhaps she's augmented in some way, which she's never been giving me a cause for alarm to worry about her at all.
He'll kind of stare at her the entire time that you talked. And he'll, like, walk towards the edge of the circle. What binds you here?
Saying that to Ivy?
Yeah. And he'll, like, he's really close, and he's just kind of, like, staring deep into her eyes. Ivy, can you give me a will save? Yeah. I need you to roll me a CMB check. Yeah, you kind of like, your body sort of instinctively pushes Moirin back. But it's like a lot, you can feel like something pushing against your muscles as you do this. Like, you're in a position where your body is like frozen stuck, right? I don't know if you've ever had like sleep paralysis. But like your body doesn't want to move, and then if something were to kind of come along and start pulling your arms and then pushing them to push Moirin is kind of what it feels like, but without a hand touching you. Just something like grabbing your lifting your muscles and pushing your muscles to do what they're supposed to do.
I think I'll look at my arms and have like kind of a even more terrified look in my eyes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like you're kind of stuck in this pose of just staring at your hands and your arms for a moment, with confusion on your face. She fights whatever it is. Here, I think Ivy is less Ivy. Whatever is in her has too much fear. Gulran, can you give me a hand?
Of course.
The two of you can kind of like hoist up Ivy by the arms, and carry her into the circle. Or carry her into the room. Ivy, as you are being carried towards the room, give me another will save.
While they're doing this, I'm gonna double check and make sure nothing's happening to me while I'm in here.
Yeah, you are fine, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of stay locked in position as they carry you in. And for a moment while you're in here, as you're being dragged in, like there's just this intense feeling of panic, and then all of a sudden it's gone. You sort of feel like you snap back out of it. Your mind is quiet, empty, almost free.
So yeah, I think at that point, like, I probably am not like rigid anymore.
Yeah.
What the hell is down here?
This is a very powerful hallow spell. One that we've settled we've set up quite a number of protections and precautions on. Whatever it is that lies within you is not gone, but muted. I believe that if it was capable of the effect that it had on you, I would dare not try to remove it from you by magic or by force.
What in the world do you think is inside of me doing this?
You've been out a lot. Have you ever been possessed?
Have I ever been possessed that I can recall?
I don't think so. Like the closest thing I think you guys have experienced to that is what happened to Elizabeth.
I don't think I've ever been possessed.
Well, and I suppose it's not going to be a familiar feeling, but sometimes creatures can inhabit other creatures' bodies, because sort of carried around within them. Part of the effects of this circle are that creatures sort of inside of other people, not naturally supposed to be there, would be repelled or repulsed. But if they are deeply tied enough, like some of the tortured or possessed souls that we've experienced who are possessed at birth, we tend to find that this simply silences their thoughts and the thoughts of others.
Could this be part of my family curse?
None of you were telling me she had a curse.
I mean, aside from the death curse.
She went and got another death. Wait, that wasn't you that had the last death curse, was it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was Ivy that had the death curse. The
I
last
think
time we
that's
went in the
gone.
forest.
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
You just go about slaying powerful things, don't you?
I mean, it's kind of in my job description.
Fair point.
It's hard to know when something's gonna curse you. To be fair, I've only been cursed by one creature I slay that I know of. The other was, I think, a family thing passed down. I'm trying to fix it. It's complicated.
Well, I suppose for now, let's be healing you the thing that you came here for. I don't have too much more information on this other than if you ever need to make a trip down here, I'm happy to have people help you get in here so you can put your mind at ease.
Good to know, thank you.
You should get one of these little rooms for your new house.
And he will attempt to cast Remove Disease.
Problem is I'd need some muscle to push me into the room.
He will succeed. As he casts the Remove Disease, you can feel like It's a feeling not a lot of people, I think, have felt. I guess, you know the feeling when you like, eat a lot of very fatty foods and your body feels like, is this what the first inkling of a heart attack might feel like? I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but, like, it usually comes after
the worst
really...
for that feeling.
Yep. But, like, your blood feels like in part of your body, it's just, like, it has to work extra hard to pump. And that's kind of how your body feels for a moment as he casts this. And then there's, like, this intense rush of relief, as it feels like the blood is moving through your body. But it's a bit exhausting because now your blood feels very thin. And it feels very lethargy-inducing.
And Gaby just like sits down, leans against the wall, and just sits there.
We got one more thing we should probably be doing to you. Gulron, can you give me a hand on this one? You got at least a moderate level of curing, right?
Of course.
If you could, give me a hand here and give her a dose. Yeah, and you can heal... give me a casual check as well.
Yes.
Just rolling like a... yeah, so yours will not have an effect, but you will get Moirin's 19.
Alright.
But your cap is... You are able to reach your cap now.
Okay.
As long as you're healed here. How are you feeling, lass?
Better. I feel like if Gulron over there had been able to make his heal go through, I'd be perfectly right as rain, but you know.
Well, Gulron, why don't you give it another try?
I will indeed.
Can't blame him. He just came back to life today.
Ooh, there we go.
Okay, yeah, I think I did math earlier wrong. That puts me full.
Okay. You feel like a rush of energy roll over your body. As if you just, like, as if you just finished a really good workout. Like, there's still that little bit of exhaustion, but also that, like, I can take on the world kind of feeling. Well, you're looking right as rain now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I could do anything now.
Hell, let's not move too hastily.
I mean, that's kind of my MO.
I suppose so. The thrice cursed lady.
Something like that. I don't know anymore.
Some people collect curios, some families collect curses.
Hey, look, I'm trying to break it, okay? Hopefully this won't be collected for much longer.
Well, I wish you luck in that.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna need it. This has been a hell of a curse to deal with so far.
Is there anything else I can do for the lot of you?
No, I just wanted to make sure that you knew the good news that we found out today. And also, apparently we needed to heal Ivy, so thank you for that.
I appreciate you telling me, and I appreciate you telling me again. It would be a sad thing, a truly sad thing, to lose this man that I've already lost once. Hate to lose him a second time. Let's not make it a third, Gulron. I want to be the next one to be lost, not you.
Indeed. I don't think I'll be putting my life at any significant risk in the times to come.
Ah, so you're finally ready to settle down with this temple business I heard you've been talking about.
Hey, I think that is the path I'm on now.
Good. It's a bad idea for the founder of a church to abandon it so quickly. You can't be running around all willy-nilly. Well, people are looking for you to give them a sermon. They're gonna need you to be there to embolden them, to strengthen them, to remind them that Lars is a worthless piece of shit that needs to be overwhelmed.
Yes, I didn't realize they're so aggressive to Lars these days.
He's been
I mean, they are
getting
pretty
pushy.
dumb. They tried to kill you.
Yes,
They
only
nearly
because
succeeded.
only because I instigated. But
I must
I
warn
agree,
you.
and
Go ahead.
I just was saying I do agree they are a tad aggressive for my liking, but
They will probably bring an end to this church. They are sensing the weakness in our followers. If we don't act soon, find some way to bring back our devout, I'll be out of a job. But more importantly, the city will be down. A church with the, in my opinion, best ethics this city needs. Knowledge before war. Not gonna get that out of on her, Lars.
If you ever so desire, I am searching for a way to possibly go back to my home. There's a University of Sascha there.
And what good would that do?
You would
A
be
university to a god that's gradually disappearing?
but there would be more people like you there.
I don't need to be in an echo chamber. I want to grow people. Not just be around them. And if people are leaving, this is my place. A place where I can try to keep them, try to bring them. Try to remind people even after they stop believing that she's still there, that she still cares.
My inner Raw is just like, mm-hmm.
Well, obviously I wouldn't ask you to come along if you didn't want to, but maybe with the other people there at the university that you could figure out how to bring Sasha back from wherever she is.
Sashat's not gone anywhere. These are wild accusations and theories. Sashat has simply needed to go into a bit of silence. There is a lot happening now. We are seeing creatures awaken. Creatures that need dealing with. I am sure Sashat is doing something about this.
Well, if I ever do find that way home, I will ask you again, but the offer stands, I suppose I should say.
Keep it to yourself, lass. I'm not leaving. This is my home. I would rather die in this temple than run away to a place where I could have people tell me I'm right. But I hope you get to find your way home, lass, if that's what you're searching for.
Well, I do want to see my family again, hopefully. I appreciate your well wishes.
Well, if there'll be nothing else, I should get back to my duties.
Yes, thank you for helping me again. I appreciate it.
yes, appreciate it, and it was good seeing you, old friend.
Same. Moirin will escort all of you upstairs and watch you leave.
So, Gulron, not putting your life at risk anymore, huh?
been giving it some good thought and think it's time I retire from this adventuring business. Focus on creating that temple that I wanted to make for so long.
Can't say I'm surprised, I guess.
What do you mean?
I mean, you've been trying to make this temple for a while. I'm just not surprised that after everything you want to take time to devote to that.
Yes, glad you understand.
Are you going to turn your new mansion into a church?
No, hopefully I can discuss the details and get them to put some funds into helping create the church and just making a section for me to live in and applying those protections to that. I am a simple man who don't need to live in such grandiose areas. I'm more comfortable with the raw stone around me.
What about the rest of you guys? What are you gonna do with? Are you gonna have them renovate your home, or?
Probably just renovate my home, I guess. I mean, I don't really need to move into some big fancy place. I like my house, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't personally have a preference either way. Although the new technology does sound interesting. What about you?
Well, as long as there's room for Hunter to run and for me to have a garden, I'm content where I am. It seems plenty of room for a single person. I don't know. Do you guys? I should kind of look at Goron and Antaeus. Do you have any idea what Brianna would prefer?
She was always pretty extravagant and outgoing. You can imagine she'd probably like the estate. To be used to her entertaining people.
That's true. I also think that she did spend a lot of time at her house. Or
that's true.
Her residence. But I suppose that was back also when Toronto was here as well, so.
I feel like that I should probably give consideration as to what she would want and her desires. If I truly am to go back home, I would assume that means that she can come back here if she wishes.
That's true. What if she would want to come back? I don't know. I don't know much about her personal life, but
you can always ask her in a dream, probably.
That's true. I've been trying to be limiting with that, given some of the warnings I've gotten about certain endeavors I've been trying to do from people like Amalgam and such.
Well, maybe I will choose the manor, and it would definitely have plenty of room and room for entertaining. I mean, with our dinner parties, then it'd be nice to have a large place for goblin kissing or whatever we get up to. I'll kind of like side-eye Goron.
Where are we at? Are we still at the church?
You're kind of like maybe outside, walking back to your homes.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are ways of getting you back. I don't remember if I mentioned this or not.
Getting me back? I mean, not as a corpse, hopefully.
No, not in the same circumstances in which you arrived here. I can't remember if I brought this up or not. It's been a while. Well, a little while, but we've been through a lot.
I was gonna say, there's been a lot happening.
Yes, I suppose I'll let you know more about that when we're not out here.
Probably a good idea. Nobody's
Yes.
supposed to know after all.
Yeah. Do you know when Thoth is watching?
I always feel like he's always watching.
Yes, unfortunately. Well,
Eyeballs start appearing randomly on a whiteboard. He's probably watching.
at the very least, we know that he's not scrying on us. Through
I mean,
the
would a
spell
god
scrying.
need to scry?
Very true. Probably not.
Seems like if you're a god and you need to scry, you're kind of a shit god. I don't know. I don't know how gods work, but it just seems like if you need to do that, you're probably a shit god.
Gods are
You have
very
some
interesting.
more divine powers than that or something.
Oh man.
I suppose by the time he reached godhood, he would have gained more divine powers. Probably. It's a very interesting thing.
I won't say no to more protection, that's for sure. So far, only your house has been burglarized, Antaeus, but I don't really want to find my home burglarized sometime.
I mean, let's be
Agreed.
honest, I don't have anything worth stealing. I might get a training dummy. I don't know if someone wants to steal a training dummy.
That's your big
People.
expenditure?
Yeah! Isn't that what you want?
Wait, you want a training dummy?
No, not quite.
Yeah! You know, you
Sure.
practice, you hone your skills more, you get better.
Yeah, you're reminding me of Elizabeth. I think she trained with Maha a lot.
Some kind of virtual reality type
Yeah.
thing, I thought.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
like
I don't
fun.
know about that because I don't know Elizabeth. Sorry. I didn't say that.
well, I do, and that's something I would actually bring up. There is something that I've been interested in working on, and your mother, being the ravenous bitch that she is, shut me down on it.
What's your language, Antaeus?
No, that's pretty accurate. She was very insulting.
I believe that if somebody tries to dominate you, you have the right to call them a bitch. Is that fair?
Well, it depends if it was consensual or not.
I mean, let's just say that.
What kind
The
of
spell.
domination we talking about?
The spell,
Oh
not
my
the
God.
action. Or ability?
Actually, I do object to calling her a bitch because I had a bitch. Her name was Akalia. She was great. And
You're right,
it
that
was
would be a
an insult.
disservice to bitches everywhere. Anyways, yes, I had plans. Well, nothing I had come up with concretely, but I figured that what is it? There was something that I learned about when I was doing a little bit of studying about the mistress. A little bit. I don't know much about her, but it inspired me. The share memory thing.
Oh.
Something of that nature. Something I think with the VR, virtual reality, viewing globe type stuff. There's something there. I don't quite have the plans on it yet, but sure, I can whip them up.
You know, if it proves useful for training purposes, maybe the ministry would be interested in doing that after all as a way to train people.
That's true. That is possible. I suppose they would be willing to offer a great deal for that. It's a very good point. But I mean, I suppose... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I suppose it could also be used for more recreational things as well. Just part of the more lucrative side of it, I suppose.
What is on your mind tonight?
Oh,
Domination, more recreational uses, like
No. Not in that sense. How do I put this? Like games of sorts.
Well, I mean, a lot of things start out being used by the military and then they find recreational purposes.
This is true. That's very true. Whichever one is more beneficial, I suppose. I don't know how I feel about the military having that kind of power, theoretically, anyways.
Well, not to change the subject abruptly, but Goron, what does a person coming back from the dead, what sort of feast do they want
Brains?
for a dinner party?
Well, I've recently reached a new circle where perhaps I could handle that.
Oh.
I can give us a hero's feast if we wanted.
Oh.
Pass the test.
Excellent. It would be interesting to be a guest at a feast instead of the host. So if you want to,
Once I have my church made, I'll have you all as the first guests inside once it's complete. And I will make you all a hero's feast. I have my promise.
Well, hate to be a wet blanket, but perhaps if you are going with the more lavish estate, it would be better to hold it there than a church. No offense.
He said he's trying to use his money to.
Well, yes,
the church.
I mean, I think that's a good idea, but I think as far as having a feast and a party, a more spacious environment would probably be more beneficial.
What?
Perhaps
No?
this church could have like
No.
a banquet hall or recreation hall where the people can get together.
I'm sure
after
there'll
the
be more than
sermons
enough
and
room for
food.
5 people in my church. I'm not making
Yes.
Sounds like you just don't want to come to my church.
No. Well, no. I mean, everyone's
True. Does sound
I mean,
like he
everyone
doesn't
learned.
want to go to your church.
And while we're on that topic, all of you who have not given yourself to a god should highly consider Krasker. He's aided us so far and helped me keep you all alive as best we could. And by his graces, I'm returned to you.
I am grateful to Kraskron for that, but I don't think that would be fair of me to devote myself to
Why?
a singular god.
Why?
Because wouldn't that be denouncing the other gods and their
No.
contribution to the worlds?
You don't have to forsake every god to praise one. Just give thanks to one in particular.
Well, if I do that, I get nothing in return.
Only a Lars follower deals in absolutes.
I'm not a divine caster, though. I wouldn't gain any.
Probably do too.
It doesn't matter if you're divine or not. Giving thanks to gods is always a good idea.
I mean, I fully intend to give thanks to Kraskron and to help spread his word. I don't know if I would be willing to devote myself solely to him, though.
Well, that's as much as anyone could ask for.
I believe that
Truly
he
mean
deserves
that?
the right to. He deserves the right to have a chance at the same level of recognition as the other gods. What he does with that is his business, but
You were so keen on helping me publish his works. Are you still interested in that once I've
oh yes, absolutely.
had time to decipher the full text and get those up and running?
Absolutely.
I plan on disseminating that information once the church is made and help get people in the door. Learn about Kraskoron.
Go to their
Actually,
rec room, I
what
suppose.
Antaeus can do is once they become devout followers of Kraskron, he can offer study materials for them and make money that way.
What?
Well, I mean, I think that my contributions would be at the very least inscribed within the holy texts in some way, not on the cover or anything like that, but for my part that I've done.
What? You want like a special thanks page to you or something?
It's something of that nature, yes.
Well, I mean, if you help finance the book and production, I'm sure we can work that in there.
Certainly.
In loving memory of Antaeus.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I need a eulogy page.
But it is as you're kind of wrapping up that conversation that you'll see your homes in the distance, and a familiar figure standing sort of like towards the corner of the road that leads there.
Which familiar figure?
His soft green skin.
That one.
And well cleaned and pressed outfit. As he stands there, guards looking. I guess not pressed. Pressed isn't really the right word, but.
I was gonna say, does he normally have a pressed outfit?
I mean, it's usually so. He's usually wearing some kind of like either vest or suspenders. He's usually got a kind of like poofed out button up shirt of some sort. And he's often wearing like some form of what we would consider to be slacks.
Gotcha.
So he's always rather formally dressed.
The formal gangster.
Yeah.
Shamefully so.
Well, I heard word you were all back. It's good to see you all. My voice is gonna take me a moment to get back into the swing of.
Hello, Zigmars.
Here to greet me or your business partner?
You always first.
What I like to hear.
He doesn't greet me in the same way he greets you. Probably
Yeah, that
for
might be
the
a little
best.
odd. Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, Zigmars will happily head up to Ivy first. You're in good shape, it seems. I was worried you might have had a run-in that took a little out of you, but
You know, we got all healed. I'm fine now.
wait, you were seriously hurt before?
I mean,
This?
a little.
And he'll gesture to you. This doesn't. Nothing can hurt you. Are you sure?
We ran into some weird magic. I mean,
At least she wasn't eaten.
Why would she have been
Rude.
eaten?
Goron got eaten.
He'll
You guys
turn
have
to
no
Goran.
tact. It's been barely a day.
Sorry, Goron.
Wait, that means that the third man I've ever kissed. I never actually kissed because he's gone now.
What?
Is that how
Oh.
it happens if someone dies and comes back? Because they're not the same person?
It's
I don't
not his
know.
body, right?
I don't know.
So it's different.
What are you talking about?
I'm
I
saying I never
understand.
kissed you. That works out well. The
That
man I
works for
kissed is
me.
long dead.
That works for me.
Well, he doesn't crave brains, so he's not undead. So there's that.
We're sure.
Well,
Do you want
he said
brains?
no. So
Goran, I do have a source if you're interested.
No, not interested.
excuse me,
You
what?
say the weirdest things sometimes.
Some
Well, that
people
reminds-
will donate their dead bodies to science, some will donate them to magic, and some will donate them to a good time.
What the heck?
Okay.
Is this legal?
I don't wanna
Everything I
know.
do qualifies as being legal. Technically.
No, Goron. If you get a hankering for brains, you could see if people would donate their bodies to the church.
Okay, this is getting kind of
There
weird. Can
are
we
a
get off
large
the
number of people that would be happy to utilize free bodies that you have left over. I know quite a few people who would be excited if you were to start some sort of body collection program.
This is going down a
We're
weird
not
path.
doing that. Yeah.
Also, blood. Blood is also particularly useful if you happen to get that. I know a guy.
Yeah, why was that goblin so interested in my blood? You would know that, right, Antaeus?
I would assume you would know, given the nature.
You
of
think
your
it's just because
blood.
I'm kind of magical? I don't know. Is that it?
I would assume that that's at the very least it. Yes, you have a family bloodline as well, which I don't know if the curse is connected to that or not, but it's a lot of interesting things about your blood. Not saying that because I want to collect your blood, although it wouldn't hurt to study it. it'd help you better understand it, and myself as well. And
That's the business partner I've come to know and love.
but speaking of brains, though, I do have something I wanted to talk to you about.
Sigmar starts chuckling intensely.
Not in the collection of humanoid brains.
Antaeus, you certainly have a very special way with words.
We talk about this when we're not outside.
Well, who's home?
You can use mine, I guess.
Oh.
Anytime?
Are we doing...
No, just this one time.
I didn't know if we were doing a get-together or dinner party or something of that nature, but
No, let's head inside. Ivy, you heard the good woman.
Alright.
Just this
I look
once.
for my dagger on my belt and it's gone.
yes, one moment, I'll go... I'm assuming that all the houses are within...
Yeah, they're all
sight.
next door to each other, so...
I'll go get my Mastiff.
Okay.
Bring him with.
Yeah, if you go over to your house, let's do something different for a moment.
Oh, I didn't intend for this to be a thing. That was supposed to be a side note, not a whole side quest.
Once again, you enter into your home, and it looks ransacked. Of course, you don't really have much here, but...
In the same way that it was before?
Almost identically the same way.
I'll try to see if the Mastiff is okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But it is weirdly asleep. But a figure will step out of the shadows. I understand what you are.
Is this a diplomatic exchange, then?
I figured this is how we meet. I make a mess of your house. You keep secrets from me.
What secrets did I keep? If I recall, last time you broke into my house, I actually divulged everything that you were asking for, even if you didn't believe me.
Where are you from?
That's something that I've recently come to find out.
How convenient, because so have I.
Really? That would be very interesting to find out how you found out. I stumbled on it by accident, unfortunately.
They found a body somewhere. A pair of goblins brought a body in. The goblins were...
A pair of goblins?
A pair of goblins.
Where?
Not far from the capital. They allegedly had dragged the body quite some ways. They were mostly willing to keep quiet. But with the right words and the right compensation, you can get most people to talk. Now, Antaeus, I found why there's no record of you. I found evidence for how you got here. And I found it all at a little house.
A little house?
Just outside of the mountains to the east of the capital, there is a small building which was home to a person who looks similar but different to you. Like a compressed version of yourself. Nothing elongated. Like if you were to try to reproduce a human as an elf.
Well, if you're trying to wound me, it's not going to work.
Antaeus, where are you from?
Sounds like you already know the answer to that, don't you?
No, that's the part I don't know. I know you're not from here. But where? I cannot figure out.
That's about the same amount of information that I have currently, right? Because... Okay, so I just was in that room. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I do not have the answer. I know as much as you do on that, unfortunately. But I'm assuming this man that you speak of, I have seen him once. In a dream, sort of?
And what
Not
did
really.
what did this dream man say?
He said he was expecting me. And told me that I was of him.
And does he have her?
Brianna?
Yes.
That I don't know. I didn't see her when I saw him, but I don't believe that it was a current vision.
Then why would he send you a message? In a vision?
I don't know. It sounds like he anticipated me being there.
What is your reason for being here? It doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone send you here? And why? Why does no one know who you are? An alchemist constituency are the only people who know you exist. Well, now an entire city will, but this will be... It's as if you just appeared here.
You're asking me as if I chose this, as if this was a decision I made.
It seems odd that you wouldn't know.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? We can agree on that. I don't understand why you're giving me so much hostility still, as if I've ever done anything to slight you.
He will reach into a pocket and he will pull out a document and he will extend the document to you.
I will begrudgingly take it.
It
I'll
is,
look it over.
yeah, it is sort of a arcane biography of yourself, listing your name, your age, your alignment, your race, and a few other like key features about you. Some of the notes have a question mark next to them, like your race and like your age. Things where there was clearly some kind of error in whatever would have been done to get the information. But most importantly, your actual alignment is there.
Wish people would stop telling me that. I don't feel like I've done anything to deserve this, but as far as these things, question marks next to them, as far as I can tell, they're accurate.
These people took actual samples of you, and they were unable to discern key pieces of information. Your alignment suggests that you would be deliberately deceptive. So tell me, why should I trust what you say?
So tell me, has anything that I told you been incorrect? Have I lied to you intentionally about anything, any information that I've given you? in the entire time that I've known you.
Someone doesn't need to lie to be deceptive.
Suppose that's true. What do you think I'm hiding? What do you think that, like, my goal? What are you insinuating? I don't understand.
I think you are making a power play. You're a foreign spy for a foreign government, here to undermine the country, here to set yourself up in a position of power, and then break it all down around it. You've brought over one of your informants from whatever this country you hail from, and claim that she inhabited the body of one of your own allies? You wander around with some sort of accursed woman who wields with her a blade that her family is trapped in by her own magics? And a man who chooses to follow a god that doesn't exist, but he gains powers from somehow.
As far as I can tell, Razgron exists, but it seems like you have a bit of information about Ivy, which is good. That would be helpful.
I was asked to get that information, or did you forget?
A little bit. A lot has gone on in the last several days.
Same. I'm clearly not here killing you, though. So there's something about this that is more important for me to get the answers to than to just leap to an assumption.
Is this... These questions, everything you're trying to figure out, is this for personal reasons?
No. I am worried for the sake of this country. Any side benefit I might have in looking into these things is purely coincidental at this point.
Sounds like what you said earlier was true. However, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't someone else asking you to get this information.
I answer to no one else. I'm a man who gets answers, not gives them.
That makes it a lot easier to try, at least, to work with you. I'm not trying. If I'm a spy, this is all news to me. I am not aware of any of this. None of this has ever come to my attention. I've never known any of this. If this is true, it's just as much news to you as it is to me.
I'll make you a deal, Antaeus. If you've all succeeded at what you were claimed to have done, rumor has it that the Ministry has a device capable of going beyond just reading minds and sharing memories. It can let you relive things your mind might not even fully recall. It can re-spark thoughts in dead minds. You've experienced it, haven't you?
Even if something like this were to exist, I'm going to very blatantly give away that I know about this on my face. I don't believe that whoever has access to it would allow it to be rented out for personal use.
But let's say, for example, that your friend Gulran needed to... He thought he remembered something and just needed to go back over the details for a moment. If you could get your good friend Gulran in there and into that chair, the rest could all be done around it.
I suppose I should, I don't know, ask, what are you hoping to get from this information?
Who you are.
That wouldn't be bad information to have.
You prove to me that what I read on that document isn't cause, isn't reason for me to be worried, need to take more complicated action.
Huh.
And I will give you everything I know about how to get out of here. Or at least everything I was just recently told. I just need to know that you're not going to rat me out when I leave.
What interest is it of mine what you do with your time and your life?
You're a spy for the other side. And me getting out and bringing back Brianna is a significant danger to your stability.
Is that your only intent? Is that your only reasoning for leaving?
Someone was lost from here that deserves to be where they belong.
I just sure that you aren't deflecting certain, I don't know, spyish aspects onto me and in hoping to get out of here in order to return to the military here. Not that I had any reason to believe that, but the aggressive nature in which you keep approaching me, it is upsetting, I will say.
You want that I should just walk up to you and your friends and let them know this whole way I'm feeling about you, and that I don't particularly trust any of them? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I have no bearing over what you do. If that's how you feel and you feel like telling them that, I can't stop you from doing that. I don't believe that I've intentionally ever given you any reason as seemingly upset at me as you have been. And you've approached it very aggressively. And I'm not very fond of that. I've been trying to work with you. Yet, for some reason, you continuously distrust me. And I don't know. I don't appreciate it.
You are the only person here in this crew with no background, an object from a land that none of us can reach, and mysteriously a person from a world beyond this one. These don't seem like the kind of things that would make someone suspicious.
Perhaps if someone didn't already know how to apparently get out of this world.
Only recently found these things out.
Yes,
and
same here.
What's more important is that I make sure that I know whether or not there are consequences, or what is going to be there waiting for me when I try to find where she is. If you know the path, you've come this way, your memory is going to hold that key.
That would be true.
So you're the person I want the answers from, and you're person I'm also thinking about helping.
You know what's funny about all of this, though, is that your proposed idea is to do this through the channels of the military machine, which has ways to track all of this, therefore giving them information.
He'll take a few steps towards you. Listen. Sometimes we have to make deals that we don't like. We have to invest in things that we don't want to. I can make sure that none of this is traceable. I have assured it. I have the promise of a man that he can erase the whole incident. If you can get me in and give me a chance, it can all go away. Once we do it.
You?
Yes.
Of course he did. What the hell does he want? So, just to clarify, you're willing to trust a strange man that you've met once, that's willing to erase the memory of that, as opposed to coming to me and asking me about this, or asking the people that I travel with about this, or trying to figure this out through us?
I don't trust him. I don't
that's good to
trust him
know.
at all. But I don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice?
I don't have a choice. I made a deal. I cannot go back on this deal. And as he takes a few steps backwards, it's even more clear that he's not stepping out of the shadows, he's moving with the shadows.
What you do?
I asked too many questions.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry.
Thanks. I need to make it worth it. She deserves to make it home.
She does, and I intend to bring her home, if that's what she wants.
Then help me, Antaeus. Prove you're not what that sheet says. Help me.
Speaking of which, is this a gift, or is this, something you wanted back?
You can keep that copy.
Because this is, interesting magic. It's not a simple blood biography. This is far more intricate.
It's where the first line of questions got me.
How long do you have?
I don't set the timer. I don't see the timer. I just know there is one. Look. Let's level, because it's clear you see through some of this bullshit. You know why I want her. You know what I've lost before.
That's true.
I lost them once. I lost the next person that seemed to even give me a spark of hope that maybe it was all worth living for. She deserves the life more than I do. I've been living on borrowed time for a long time.
Which, once again, begs the question as to why you didn't come to us first.
Because I couldn't trust you. I couldn't trust that all of it was real. magic beyond what any of us has ever seen. Who can trust that?
Person that gave you this. Use person in the loosest sense of the term, I guess. I don't know who, but
Decide what you want to do. I will be back in 3 days.
fair enough. You know that I'm probably going to let them know what went down here, right?
If he lets you.
I don't like the sound of that.
And he will, like, step towards the shadow of your wall and will fully disappear from sight. And yeah, we can take a short break. See what happens on the other side. See you shortly.
Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion? I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance. Do you want to be a champion? I mean that sincerely. Do you actually want to be a champion. I've seen what you can do. You're good. Maybe even good enough. But you're lazy. Most of the time you just sit there judging others for their mistakes. When you know you could do better. Well, now's your chance.
And we're back. So, the other three of you and Zigmars head on into Niev's place. So, I don't think I've ever gotten a chance to tour your place. Ivy, would you mind showing me around?
Just don't linger in the bedroom.
Which one?
Any of them.
Alright, we won't linger in the bedroom.
Cool.
Hallway?
Alright.
So, Gulran and Niev, the two of you can kind of come in. I don't know what your plan is once you step in. I don't know if it's been a while. I guess it's around lunchtime.
Goron, since we have a moment, I just want to say I'm really sorry I wasn't able to keep you up. I could see that we were fighting a losing battle, but I feel very guilty to have just left you to be eaten.
There's nothing to feel guilty of. If I was able to tell you, I would have preferred I would have been the only sacrifice so you all could get out safe.
Well, I'm not the healer you are. I am okay in a pinch, but...
I'm not even the healer I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't have fallen if it was.
Well, one can hardly expect you to be good at healing and avoiding damage. Normally you have to specialize in something like that.
Yes, well, don't feel guilty about anything. In the end, it worked out.
I'm glad that it did.
Me too.
When we were talking to that goblin in the forest, she was talking to you when you were dead. It seems like that you didn't want to come back in a different form if you were to come back.
I just couldn't imagine serving Kraskron other than the way I came to him. I want to leave the world the way I don't want to come back as something that I'm not. I am a dwarf through and through. And I couldn't imagine living as anything other than that.
Well, hopefully we'll never need use of this spell, but I did find that when I had some time to reflect on things, I actually was able to learn a spell that it works like reincarnation, however, you would still be a dwarf. Should the unthinkable happen again, hopefully, then I could possibly bring you back. You would just perhaps not be Goron, but another dwarf.
It's a create the body, or is it using a dead dwarf?
Actually, let me. I believe I don't have to have anything but just a piece of your body, but basically it will make for you a new body.
Huh. Well, if the time comes that spell's needed, maybe, but hopefully I will be only dying of natural causes. We won't need such things at this point.
Certainly. Well, I just wanted to bring that up so that you know that there is possibly an alternative, and hopefully, like I said, we'll never need to use this. But
it's good to know. Thank you. Don't mind those noises. That's goblins or something outside.
Ivy, you and Zigmar's kind of head out of earshot and some distance away from everyone else. So, as fun as it would be, it seems like she's implying there's certain things that she doesn't want us to do under these circumstances. It's not really why I called you over here, or why I wanted to get you away from them anyway. I think I've heard you're dealing with something very complicated. More complicated than I think you've sort of let on.
Maybe. I honestly can't remember how much I've told you.
Last, I believe I had heard from you, there was something about trouble with Antaeus and an object. And he seems more worried. And more interested, but maybe I'm reading him wrong. I sometimes am off on these things.
I mean, he's certainly more worried for sure. I don't know, they all got a little scared or upset, or the night I came over and talked to you was because, and we had that conversation about how I kind of took action when they didn't want me to. I think that's what stemmed a lot of it.
Do you trust them?
I mean, I yes, mostly. I mean,
just mostly.
I trust them to an extent, right? Where you'd trust someone with information, you trust them to help you if they can, but you don't necessarily trust them to do anything necessary, or trust them to trust you in a sense, right? Like that, if you say like, I need to do this, that they'll just trust you and believe that you need to do it, and you wouldn't be asking if there wasn't good reason. I trust their intentions. I just don't think they fully trust me. Therefore, it's hard to fully trust them.
I had a visitor recently, and he's a little nervous about the newly tall one.
The newly tall one?
Niev. Sorry, I wanted to say
Oh.
something fun, but I forgot. Sometimes
Gotcha.
it just confuses you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not.
It's okay. I know what your strong suit is.
Yeah. So why are they nervous about Niev?
According to what they said, Niev is from a different place that is it doesn't make sense that she'd be linked to here. Unless there was some link between her and your other friend. And he said there is a link between her and your other friend. A loose one, but a link.
I mean, the magic that did this is some very weird, obscure magic that we haven't really been able to figure out how any of it works. We've now seen multiple items that seem to have very similar magic, and every time I analyze it, there's this strange twisting thread of magic commonality in all of the items that I can't quite figure out what it means or what it does, but that weird twisting thread was in the necklace that seemed to do whatever it did to Niev and Brianna. Antaeus has gotten multiple items that have this magic in it, and every time he finds one of these items, like I said, I see that thread, but I just don't really know what the thread of magic does.
I need to be clear. I don't say this kind of thing to a lot of people, but I am rather fond of you, and it would be a disappointment to me, a great disappointment to me, if I were to lose you. And I may not look like much in comparison to you, but hell, I cannot be held responsible for the side effects that may occur should something happen to you at their behest.
Should I be worried?
This is why I asked if you trust them. It does make me a bit concerned that you're saying that you don't trust that they'll trust you.
I mean, I feel like they mostly trust me. They just don't trust me when it comes to the curse I'm dealing with, my family curse that I'm trying to break. There seems to be some sort of link to it with, like, shadow-like creatures. I don't exactly know what or why, but they absorb into my weapon, and Antaeus seems very concerned about this happening and is basically trying to do anything in his power to stop it, but at times I feel like the only way to find out more and to figure out where it's going is to let some of these things happen, and they just don't seem to trust me or my weapon around any of this.
And this is an answer you feel like you need for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, my family curse, I think, has led everyone else in my line to go crazy at some point in time, and I believe that I am trapped my parents and my weapon because that happened to them, and it was the only way for me to maybe keep them safe. I feel like without breaking this curse or figuring out all the details of this, I'll inevitably go crazy one day too.
He fumbles around on his vest for a moment, gets to a pocket, opens it up, and pulls out a small stone. It's very smooth, sort of crystal in shape and has like a swirling bit of color on the inside. If you ever feel like you really need your mind and it's getting away from you, think on this, and he'll hand it to you.
Yeah, I'll take it from him.
This'll give you at least a moment of clarity.
Thank you.
I carry around a few of them, but you really can't overindulge in them. They don't quite work that way.
Makes sense.
This is called a lost marble. It basically acts as an immediate action. If you would be affected by a confusion, insanity, or similar spell or spell-like effect or supernatural ability, you may think on the marble, and for 1 round, you may act as normal.
Okay. The person that you're worried about, you can't be responsible for their actions. Is this someone we know?
He chuckles a bit. Oh, Ivy. I'm talking about me. If something were to happen to you, and it were their fault, I don't think I could personally handle it.
Wait, if it were whose fault?
Let's say, for example, that recklessly they choose to sacrifice you. They choose to leave you behind. Or they choose not to help you with this, or they think what you're doing is bad enough that they take action on you. I hope to the gods that they don't show their faces back here.
Well, I wouldn't want to disrupt your partnership there.
That sigh I did is the sigh that he kind of does. A very long, deep sigh. Partnerships are hard. But it's not every day that someone quite like you comes around.
Well, I suck with words, but
You don't
in
need
essence,
words.
I feel the same.
That's words good enough.
Alright.
Now, mess up your hair a little bit. It'll make it look better when we go back.
Okay.
And he'll, make his hair a little bit more messy, flip up the collar of his shirt, unbutton a few buttons, or really misbutton a few buttons. That thing where you hastily put a shirt on and you get the button out of place. And as the two of you kind of come back, Antaeus will be knocking at the front door. Niev, if it weren't for the fact that Ivy doesn't look as messy as you might expect, just looking at Zigmar's, you would think that something definitely happened back there. But you're a little bit distracted as there is a knock at the door.
I'll go and answer it.
Antaeus, you are on the other side of that door.
Hey, Hey, what took you so long? I thought you were just gonna go get. I'll kind of like pause for a name, and then I'll just be like, "You're Mastiff."
Still trying to find the perfect name.
Have you thought of
Sorry.
Shadow?
I'll kind of look at the Mastiff when she suggests that. I'll just kind of point to my nose.
Come in.
Yes. Yes. I returned back home, and things were out of place once again.
You got broken into again? What are you running, like a lab down there?
Well, I mean, they didn't break in for that. Should double check that though. But no, it didn't seem as if they broke in for that. Just the usual threatening, that sort of thing, bargaining, the usual.
Who's threatening you?
Very, very unfortunate person. Not necessarily threats that, well, they probably could act upon, but just someone who lost their way.
Well, do you need us to defend you, or should we, like, do you want me to keep watch you so that they can't come back and finish the job?
No, I think I'll be alright. I've got a few more days before I'm supposed to meet with them again. Give them a decision.
Do you want assistance when you meet with them? Do you feel safe with this person? They're threatening you?
With them? Well, I used to. Now it seems that they made some bad deals.
Is this the same person that was asking about you at the shop? Oh wait, no, sorry, we don't know about that. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. No, I forgot what we forgot.
Sometimes it's hard to keep track.
Yeah. He's been there before. He was there last time we came back.
Did you tell us it was Tehran last time or no?
Yeah, I did. I mentioned that it was Tehran.
Okay. This is Brianna's boyfriend?
Well, he seems to believe so. I don't know if she feels as strongly about him as he does, but some people are willing to do anything, I suppose. So difficult. He cares or cared about her a lot, but it seems he gave all that to the wrong people.
He seemed very sad when I went to his house that one time when I was kicked out of the inn.
Yeah. I wanted to help him. I tried to help him. He thought it better to find other sources to try to achieve his goals. Gave me this though, and I'll hand her the thing, and then and I'll kind of let Mastiff in and try to wait to be invited in.
Oh, I mean, I've already invited you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't want to run through you or
no, it's good.
Run into you, I suppose.
Run her through.
My 8 strength doesn't allow me to run through you.
Do you want me to read through this?
Go for it.
I'll
So,
glance inside.
Yeah, it'll have some key details about Antaeus. Basically, there's background on Antaeus up until the point where like he joins with the alchemists in Knightsbridge. Or I'm sorry, like starting from the point he joins the alchemists in Knightsbridge, but there is no history of anything else prior to that. And it seems like based on his birthday, based on his age, the amount of time he's been in Knightsbridge doesn't line up properly with the like number of years in age that he should be.
not sure how adept you are with detecting magic, but it's very magical. That's how they got that information.
I could detect magic, but I normally don't prepare that spell.
That's fine. You don't need to. I just figured I'd give you a heads up in case you did try to look at it. I haven't looked at it yet personally, but I mean, in order for him to get that kind of information, can't imagine it would be low circle of magic.
So he's trying to blackmail you?
He got wrapped up in my intentions and where I'm from and what my goals are, and seems to align those with Brianna and made deals in order to make deals with me to try to find out more information about her, what happened to her. He thinks I know more than I've told him. I don't. I haven't. It's nothing on the surface.
Well, some people will do a lot if they're grieving. If they don't have something to cling to like hope.
Yes. Give it all away for someone. I suppose I understand the sentiment, but there are bigger and more important things than one person.
Well, the shopkeeper that you went on a date on, if they disappeared, would you make similar deals trying to find them?
I don't know if I could. With the level of power that we have, the level of abilities that we have, the access to funds and means and resources, somebody using that against us, or me specifically, I guess in this instance, could be far more dangerous. And I don't enjoy saying that I would probably choose the greater good over the good of one person, but I think that in that instance, far more damage can be done if that were to happen.
Makes sense. It's not a judgment either way. I think it's for each person to decide.
I appreciate that. I just everything that's been going on, it's just tired.
Yeah. There are some days where Goron talking about retiring makes a lot of sense.
Agreed. If I had it my way, we wouldn't have been out in the woods in the first place, but there's a lot of power to be had in the city, but I guess you have to go elsewhere to gain the clout to get that kind of political power, or be born into it, I suppose. Not all of us can have Ivy's parents, and thankfully not all of us do.
You mean Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, sorry. Or Ivy, I guess. I don't know much about her parents.
True.
Still very concerned about that. But I just... This makes sense. Can't imagine why she would trap both of them in there. I'm worrying too much about this.
Well, I don't know if everything that's in this is true or if this is just what he's threatening to tell people is true, but either way, I feel like that you've proven yourself to be a friend, and hopefully we can resolve this in a way that this person can get some closure. Perhaps if
Thank you.
there's a way for me to get home, there's a way for Brianna to get back, so...
Speaking of which, I'm gonna kind of pull out the share memory item. I don't know if this is the best way to go about this, but it seems safer than speaking this into existence, I suppose. Could show you how I found out about this information briefly and the location of it. I mean, at the very least, you deserve to know, and the off chance that something happens to me or the rest of us, and at least hopefully you'll be able to make it back.
Well, I will say, it wouldn't be so terrible to stay here. I feel like that I've at least found good people that I would enjoy having in my life. My only pull back there, of course, is my family.
Of course. And that's understandable. Like, I completely get that. And also, being Sierra Savant is limiting, to say the least. Don't have access to the outside world. Usually.
Well, I will... you say this will allow me to see the memory?
Well, theoretically, yes. Given the nature of the memory itself, the vision, given the nature of how I obtained it, I don't know definitively if it'll work, but it's worth a shot.
Well, I'm game.
Alright. I suppose we should probably let Ron or someone else know just in case.
Are they not in the room with us?
Gul'ran was kind of there. I don't know if Gul'ran is really paying attention necessarily. But like Ivy and I guess Gul'ran would have been kind of like a room over because you were at the door.
Okay.
And Ivy and Zigmar's were just kind of coming back to things.
Well, let's go meet up with everyone. I mean, if something goes wrong, at least we'll have people that know about it, right?
Yes. I'd hate to be completely forgotten. Especially lately.
So yeah, I'll head into the other room.
Mm-hmm. Gul'ran is there, as are Ivy and Zigmar's.
Alright. I suppose we'll do the thing and try to share the memory.
Would Zigmar or would Gul'ran have any objections to this? Like him sharing a memory of something that, like when he had the memory himself, it basically paralyzed him?
So what exactly do you guys explain to me, I guess? Like, what do you guys say you're doing?
Sharing the memory of how I found out about the information about the tunnel.
The tunnel?
Way, for lack of a better term, out of here.
Oh,
What brought this
right.
up?
Didn't you finding out about that have some consequence to you?
Some, yes. And it seems like there's other things going on as well. As people that are looking for me, and
So why do you want to do it again?
because if these people find me and I lose this information, I don't know if we'll have an opportunity to get it back.
I thought we were having a relaxing night and you want to do some crazy shit. Always you and Tace, huh?
Well, I could speak about it out loud, but thought is everywhere, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know how comfortable I feel, especially given the events of the last few weeks. And
What happened to you last time you did this exactly? Remind me.
last time I did this, last time I did this, there was a different scenario. But are you talking about how I obtained the information?
How you attained the information?
Oh, that was a mixture of Shroud Thoughts and what was the other spell I
Yes, but
used?
what happened to you afterwards?
That was when we had to take him to the apothecary.
Yes.
Do you
Effectively,
remember what they said? Was he paralyzed or was he stricken with fear or what was the issue?
He was locked in his body, I thought they said. It was the mixture of spells that he used.
Yes, I accidentally trapped myself in the moment using the psychometry and the protection.
Well, I have freedom of movement prepared today. Do you think that'll help you?
I mean, well, this time I don't know if I need to put up in Shroud Thoughts and Dream Shield. I think the combination of that locked me there, but I don't know if freedom of movement would. Maybe.
Would it hurt you to have this on you? I don't see why not.
That's true. Well, actually, would I know? I guess I would be thinking about it now. But do I know of any way to? Well, I guess the best way to think about it is this: I have a spell, but I don't know if there's any way for someone, an outside observer, to be able to listen in, for lack of a better term.
I mean, you don't know what the power of the gods are, but you know that, like, it would take somebody with similar levels of power to be able to do such a thing.
I suppose. I don't know if I'd be able to tell if it'd be more or less dangerous to share the memory at this point, but I can do that if you'd rather. I don't know if the gods would be able to listen, or if someone of our level of power would be able to listen in, but I don't know.
Well,
So do you want my aid or not?
Sure, if you're willing to give it. I don't know how effective it is, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I'll cast status on him first.
Okay.
And I guess Niev, if she's doing this with him.
Okay.
And then I will cast, I guess I can freedom of movement both of them?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give them both freedom of movement. I don't know if it does anything, but...
Okay.
Well, I suppose...
So you guys are about to do something that we have no idea if you're going to get hurt in the process or not. Should we roll our hit points first?
oh, hey, that's probably a good idea.
You guys need one more day of rest for that.
Oh, dude.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, there's a good chance that I won't even need those hit points. Well, I mean, in the sense that I'll die before I'd be able to actually use them.
But you can cast status and freedom of movement on both of them, and you're going to share the memory?
Yes.
Okay. You put on the equipment. Don't worry, I didn't just stop the music. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong.
Everything's fine.
Right one. Where's this one? No, that's the wrong one.
Everything is awesome.
Some of these things I need better ways to identify which thing they are.
Whose theme they are.
Nope, wrong one again. Damn it, I wish this were easier. I might not even have this one in here. That's that. not the Mr. B theme.
That's not the Mr. B theme.
It always reminds me of
That's
the Mr. B
vampire theme.
theme. Oh, what? Same difference.
All of a sudden, we just hear Valu's music. What are you guys doing over here?
Yeah, that's Mr. V, not Mr. B.
Mr. V.
Mr. V.
Technically, he would be Mr. C.
I mean, do we even know that? We don't know what the B stands for on Mr. B. It could be his first name. Has anyone ever
Bissy.
gotten
Usaba.
Yeah, it's
It
future
does.
Bissy. And he's
Bissy
stuck in a time
gets
paradox.
reincarnated in the future and like decides he's got to make this organization, but then ends up getting ripped back in time.
It's like Misfits, if anybody's seen that. No? Okay.
So Brianna, you are pulled into this vision.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Niev. You are pulled in this vision that Antaeus had, seeing it through his eyes. Only not the same. Who the hell are you? Who the hells are you? You're not my shadow.
No.
Oh my god.
I'm Niev.
Who? I don't know a Niev.
You will, probably, I assume.
No, you're
I
not
don't
here.
know.
Stop that.
Oh.
Your
Niev.
memory, you're replaying the memory, but she's seeing the memory. But the problem is, I don't work that way. So you sit tight there, and I'll talk to whoever this is. No one else? None of you other two? No? Okay, good. Let's get back to the scene. All right.
I'm Niev Soleil from Phoenicia, the University of Mirashad.
Must be out of the time I'm in. Maybe? Wait. No, Phoenicia! Oh, that's what I finally end up naming it.
Yeah, I guess. That's what it's always been as far as I know.
And the university. Oh, that was Kara's idea. Right? She's probably got like a statue somewhere. No, not Kara. Was it Kara? One of the Bombadils. I don't remember which one. The one that couldn't remember names. Perhaps it's fitting I don't remember hers. Anyway. Why are you here?
Well, my friend Antaeus is sharing this memory with me so that I will know the information that he learned.
My
in case
shadow
something
is
happens to
calling
him.
itself Antaeus? What kind of a name is Antaeus? There's no flavor or
alliterative.
style in that. Alliterative?
His last name's Amon, Antaeus Amon. It's alliterative.
I feel like I could have done better. You would figure that my shadow would come up with a better name, something more fitting. I preferred when I had named myself Nicostratus Xavier Akimbo. That was a much more expansive name.
Definitely a mouthful.
Amon is such a short last name. Not Rossavant, Akimbo, Carbinger. Anyway, sorry. I suppose I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Kandor Rossavant.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Where are you then, right now?
I'm in Sierra Savant. And the city of Knightsbridge.
And my shadow. But you're from Phoenicia.
Yeah, he got this necklace out of a book. His friend Brianna had died, and they put the necklace on her. And one night I went to bed in Phoenicia, and the next night I woke up in Sierra Savant. Well, not even the next night. I just woke up in her body.
Oh, was your other self still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, it swaps bodies when they're still alive. What an unexpected circumstance. So you're there. That would mean that someone from Sierra Savant. Wait.
Yes, Brianna went to Phoenicia, and I came to Sierra Savant.
The old man Harvest. Is his child in Sierra Savant? His grandchild?
I don't know. There is a Harvest, a Reginald Harvest.
No, that's not the one. This one would have had sort of a silly-ish name. I think, like, what is it? A person who makes sandwiches. Carver, that's it. Carver.
There was. Hang on, out of character. Did you guys tell me Carver Harvest is the one that gave Antaeus the book?
Carver Harvest did not give Antaeus the book.
No.
Carver Harvest, Carver. You would Brianna would recognize the name Carver Harvest, Niev
because
would
of
not.
Okay.
Carver
right.
Harvest right now is in Phoenicia.
That's right. Okay. No, I don't recognize that name.
I've really made a mess of some timelines, haven't I?
I guess.
Well, in theory, I'm speaking to you from the past. Well, probably the present past. Imagine that every action that you do, every action that you could choose was all like a series of things. This isn't even worth time. I don't even know what your intel score is. I don't know if you're going to retain any of this anyway.
I'm not sure what you mean by intel score, but
what did my shadow send you here for? Why is he sharing this with you? What did he need you to know?
Well, he didn't want to speak this aloud in case there were people listening. Basically, we have discovered that there's a way possibly for me to get from Sierra Savant back to Phoenicia. And you told him that the last time he was here?
Yes, but it's guarded by something terribly powerful. Someone would need to go in and clear that out if they were strong enough. Otherwise, they won't be able to make it through. And I don't think there's anybody that could be motivated to do that, even if they were strong enough. Most people, when they get to a level to fight that kind of thing, just kind of retire.
I did hear that there was a body found near the capital in Sierra Savant. Perhaps someone was trying to come through. There was a couple of goblins.
I must have found some Septicon. I mean, someone brave must have been willing to take this endeavor.
I don't know much about them, but I plan on questioning them later.
Good. I'd love to know the answer to those questions, but if you're using share memory, there's only so much of a stretch it can do. How long was your friend passed out when he first talked to me?
For quite a while. We took him to a alchemist or a apothecary to get them to wake him up. He used an unfortunate combination of spells that locked him here.
You don't recall exactly how long? No watches over there in Sierra Savant?
Don't really think so.
Oh. Well, that's sad, because at any point, did you wake up?
Well, that was interesting.
I assume that I wake up as well, or...
You weren't out. You were sharing the memory, but
okay.
You weren't passively experiencing the memory.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't stuck in it as long as it was last time.
Chatty guy.
Yes, some of it even makes sense.
Did my spells help this time? It looks like it. You're all fine.
I'm not paralyzed, so...
You're welcome.
Thank you, Goron.
No problem.
Goron sounds like a robot right now.
Oh,
So, what I got from that apparently is he conned whoever this was they found dead into coming here.
The goblins?
No, the dead person.
Oh, yes.
I don't think this was exactly the same. First of all, he knew that I wasn't you.
That doesn't surprise me. I don't know how, I don't know what would have happened, but none of that surprises me.
He asked about a carver harvest.
Carver Harvest?
Yeah. He asked if he was there, and I said no, I hadn't heard of that person, and he said something about screwing up timelines.
Now, I know of Carver Harvest, don't I? I did get his name when we were there the first time.
Yeah, you would have, because you got the, I forget from where, but
The guy that gave him the book was saying that the missing harvest.
yeah, I didn't remember if he had given him the name Carver though.
Oh.
I believe I either got it from him or I got it from Reginald. I don't remember which.
I don't think either of them knew that Carver was the name. I don't think either of them gave you. I'd have to go back and double check. But for right now, let's assume that you don't know the name Carver.
Well, he
Fuzzy.
does now.
Could
Yeah.
be familiar, but I don't know if I remember that name or not.
He asked about harvests, and I told him about Reginald, but he didn't.
Yes.
He said Reginald wasn't the right one.
well, what's all this nonsense? What about this tunnel? Did you figure out what you needed from this tunnel?
He said that there was something very strong guarding it, and usually by the time someone is strong enough to fight it, they retire.
I guess that confirms the information about the tunnel. Well, I guess it's from the same source, so I don't know if that confirms it, but it does line up at least.
Well, perhaps when we question this person, they can confirm it as an outside source, maybe. Maybe even the
Hopefully.
goblins would know.
I'm just afraid of who's going to ask any of the three of them first.
Well, I don't know that there's much that we can do about it personally. I mean,
Well, let me see how this works. Have you been talking to that person specifically? I wonder if I could sit here and think out loud for a moment.
Goron, what's it like to die?
Mind corpse.
What?
What's it like to die?
It's a very unpleasant experience.
Agreed. I just
When you wake back up afterwards, do you still remember dying, or does it like wipe that away before you wake up?
I remember my last moments before my soul left my body. It was painful, but there's a sense of calming. And I mean, I don't know what happens to all of you, but I was greeted by my deity when I passed, or, well, I didn't fully pass on, I guess. I was in sort of a waiting room.
Like when they put you on hold at the apothecary?
Kind of. You see, the gods are smarter than us all, and they know when you have unfinished business. And I clearly had unfinished business, so I was on hold until things could be settled.
I know somebody that would think that whole death experience rather valuable. It could benefit your church.
What do you mean?
You're a religious type, so you've probably heard about this mistress name that's been popping up.
No. We don't deal with her.
Really? I thought.
Yes, I had a bad experience.
But there's a profound amount of money you could probably get from sharing an experience of being eaten.
I don't require money.
Fair enough. Anyway, Antaeus, I hope that bought you enough time.
Oh, yes. Yes, unfortunately, I would need to be able to reach the corpse. It effectively works the same way as the spell, which makes sense. But I also don't have it prepared for today because I didn't expect to be attempting to sneak in somewhere and speak to a corpse. So.
Wait, what are you planning on doing?
Speak with dead.
I think you wanted to speak
With
with
who?
the dead person that was recovered by the Capitol.
It's a long shot. It would be a long shot, and I wouldn't be able to do it tonight anyways.
Yeah, they still have to be transferred here.
Yes. But
You're not breaking any laws, Antaeus. Get that out of your head. We're done with this business of doing that kind of stuff. There was a day when we would be breaking in and trying to solve the cases for ourselves, but those days are long past.
I did hear that you liked a little light B&E there, Goron.
That was when I was spry into the ministry and was overzealous in trying to solve a case. But we quickly learned we needed to do things by the book and the right way, or else it doesn't
By
matter.
the book.
Or not.
Excuse me?
Excuse you?
Do not mock me.
How much is the book?
Which book?
I don't know, a lot apparently.
The book that we're supposed to be buying.
It's a metaphor for the law. I'm sure there's some book of laws somewhere.
Oh, and we can purchase it?
Maybe. I don't know
I
exactly.
think it costs
Are you
about
selling?
300.
300 what?
Well, I mean, that's a different book. But it'll give you a lot of information about laws.
Just forget about the book. We gotta follow the rules, the laws. No breaking and entering and sneaking around. You can just go through the proper process and ask for permission.
But Goron, I'm looking at your rap sheet here.
At one time! And I don't know how you even have access to that.
He's
I mean,
like
he's
pulled out a random
Sigmar's.
piece of empty paper, a blank paper.
I mean, haven't you been in jail several times, Goron?
No. Once.
That was like your
the
thing.
dwarves.
That's not the same law system. It doesn't count.
But it was still a jail.
It was they put me in there temporarily until they could figure things out. It doesn't count.
That's true. We didn't know their law system
But you were
fully.
just literally in jail. So that's at least
Were
two
you even
instances.
with us at that point?
Yeah?
Yeah,
Are you sure that was Ivy? Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
it was Ivy because Ivy came into the party around the same time Niev did.
What are you saying? They all look alike?
Yes.
I'm just messing with you.
Human women all do look alike to me. They're all strange.
There's the old Goron.
I'm not even like totally human. That's rude.
Yeah,
and
she's
racist.
at least like half magic, probably.
I don't know.
I mean, you've kind of secondhand kissed Ivy if you count the kiss with Sigmar's.
Oh, if we're doing that, he's second-handed a lot of things.
What the?
And third-handed even more.
What the? Oh my god! This is why we don't deal with the mistress.
He has 3 hands.
That would be really nice.
What,
Where's
what
your
are
third
you even
hand?
talking about?
Oh, potions you could do. No, I decided not to get that.
What? You guys are crazy.
Well, I thought about a vestigial arm thing that I could have done, but I figured it was probably not worth it or to really gross you guys out, like that skin scent thing. You guys don't seem to like that either.
We've gone so off topic. All I wanted to say was you're not sneaking in anywhere and
We're
doing
buying books.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Well, still being transferred, so if it's in transport, then we're going by the law of the country, not the law of the city. And I don't know if there's anything about extracts and corpses, but it won't be any damaging thing. So, I mean, as long as we get it outside of the city. But
No.
so what you're saying is if we took a walk and we just happened to pass the carriage and just happened to like detain the guards.
What are you talking about? You going to detain official guards?
I mean, you
guys
are
have gone
heroes
off
of
the
a
deep
city.
end.
That's gotta come first. That's gotta be worth something.
Yes, it wouldn't be worth much if they caught upper-handing official guards.
I thought you were staying around town. What does it matter to you, Gulran?
Well,
I'm
anyways,
just trying to
my
look
thought
out for
process-
my old friends. You don't get into insanity trouble just because I'm not with you.
My thinking was that it would be concerning to me, at least, if people were, especially the military, were to interrogate them first before we
Why?
got an opportunity. Sorry, something just occurred to me. In case they decided to do something or get information that they didn't want to share with us, or I don't know, a number of things that they could do. Not allow us to see the corpse, I guess would be an easy
I mean,
one.
unfortunately, that's how things work in Teus. You're not above the law.
No, but we do work for the law.
Not anymore. We're officially no longer with the ministry. Did you forget?
So, you're in a little bit of a gray area here because the ministry just isn't giving you more assignments, and none of you have like formally resigned from the ministry, and they haven't given you the awards yet because you're really not finished like with the whole case thing technically. So you're still kind of employees of the ministry, basically.
It's kind of like how when they were threatening to jail us, even though if we didn't finish the mission, even though we were not part of the ministry, you know, the whole gray area. But I mean, technically, we're just not on assignment at the moment. But don't worry, I won't do anything that I know will bring me harm. And if I do anything illegal, I'll make sure not to let you know about it. At least not until after we've completed it. That way you won't have to worry about it. And it's only illegal if we get caught. Maybe. Depending on who you ask.
All true things.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess according to this sheet EF has, I'm lawful evil, so that... I guess that would probably align to some degree with that. Well, maybe not so much a lawful thing, but I guess there's some flexibility there. But
Well,
anyways,
do what you want. I'm not going to help with that. That's for sure.
I'm not...
Daddy Gulran dies and comes back, and all of a sudden he's no fun.
Was he fun
Well,
to
that's
begin with?
sticking true to character.
I am very fun, alright?
He's fun when he's drunk. He does funny shit, at least.
That's what we need, is some alcohol.
I'm sure this new and reinvigorated Gulran doesn't even drink.
I won't say no to a few pints, but I'm not
Does
getting...
Krasgran let you drink?
I don't believe he has anything against the matter, but I'm not going to get completely blackout drunk.
We'll see about that.
Well, I think on this, we'll kind of wrap up for this evening. Falcon, I know you have a NPC quirk, and I will make sure that still gets used next week. I have not forgotten. It is in my notes for the campaign. And yeah, we're gonna probably pass over a little bit of time in between there. You guys can think about some stuff that you want to do during this downtime, some stuff you want to get accomplished. We'll kind of hit through those points next time, and we'll see how this award ceremony goes, potentially. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.